everyone, today I'm bringing you one of many on my shelf videos that you will probably see during Bookmas. As you know, it's one of my favorite videos to do, and as is my on my shelf tradition, there will be wine. So I went to Twitter and asked for some coordinates and got an abundance, enough to do probably 3 or 4 videos, but today I'm going to try to cover 5 books, so let's get started. The first coordinates are 514, and they were sent to me by Katie Bananas. And that book is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I can't remember if this one came up in the one of the last on my shelf videos, but we still chat about it anyway. It's a very popular book. I was very late to the bandwagon. I'm pretty sure that all of the books were already out by the time I started reading it, and this one is easily my favorite in the trilogy. It's the only one that I own, and it's probably the only one that I will ever own. It was one of the few books the year that I read it, and I think it was the year that I read 100 books a year, that I just could not read this fast enough. It's also one of those books that I don't look forward to rereading because I probably won't like it as much the second time around. But it's one of my favorite young adult dystopians, if not my favorite young adult dystopian, however cliche that may be. The next coordinate I received from my friend Emily Jean, and her coordinates were 810. And that book is Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. Again, I can't remember. I have the worst memory. I don't remember if this was one that has shown up in a past on my shelf video. But I read this earlier this year. It's the beginning of the classic children's series. I own the rest of the series, and I've actually recently been wanting to revisit it. And most recently, this story was brought back to my attention because there is this really charming little YouTube miniseries called Kissing in the Rain, and one of them features some characters from this series. I really loved this, and I picked it up initially because my sister-in-law devoured this book series. She loves the miniseries. I can't remember where it comes from. It might be BBC or PBS, but I was inspired to pick it up because of her, but I need to continue on in the series. The next coordinates came from @BoxerMommyReads, and they were 6 and 9. And that book is Looking for Alaska by John Green, and this is actually the edition that I think that I initially read. I have 2 copies because it's one of my favorite books, and I have 2 so that I can lend it out. My friend Jenny sent me the other copy, and I'm like 99% sure that this is the original copy that I read. It's kind of jagged, and I think I only read it once, but I'm kind of rough on my paperback books. I initially heard about this book like 2 or 3 years, I think, before I actually read it. I had a real-life friend who was constantly giving me book recommendations. He also recommended that I read Twilight, and I liked it at the time because he loved Twilight. But I never picked it up. And finally, I think my friend Jenna from On the Big Adventure got me watching Vlogbrothers, so naturally I went ahead and picked up and read this, and I really loved it. But this was actually not just that one person recommended it to me in real life. This is one of the few books that I was recommended in real life multiple times before I actually read it. And I think I read it at the right time. I don't think that I would have appreciated it as much had I read it whenever it was initially recommended to me, but I think the movie rights they were sold a long time ago, but I think it's looking more and more like the movie might be made, and this is the one that I'm least wanting to be made into a movie. I don't know. I also think that this is his best literary work, but that's just my opinion. I think my favorite emotionally is Tifios, but this one is probably quality-wise the best. The next coordinates were sent to me by Jacqueline Reeds, and they are 4 and 6. And the book is the 20th Century Art Book. This was actually, surprisingly, I don't think this was a textbook. This was a book that I picked up on my own to have for reference, because it's full of paintings. Every page is a full page colored painting. I think I bought this used off of the internet. There is something still in it. There is a program to a friend of ours, Theater Showcase. Yes, so I must have gotten this my senior year of undergrad. I regret to say that I haven't really used it as much as I should, but looking at it now, it's a really great resource. If I ever get to start painting again, I will definitely be using this as some kind of inspiration and reference point. But it's a very good resource if you're looking for it's all kinds of art, but there are a lot of good examples of different styles of painting in this book. And the last coordinate that I'm going to use today is from Low Lane Red, and it was 7-11. Unfortunately, number 11 on that shelf, I know for a fact, was in the last video, so I went with the next coordinate, which I got from Lisa Rhiannon, and it was 7-9, and it is this huge chunky mass market paperback edition of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. As I've stated many times in my videos, I prefer big chunky paperbacks just in general, and this one's no exception. I think I got this from a secondhand store, but it's really like absurdly thin. The margins are fine. They're small actually, but I don't know, I really liked it. And I really liked this book too. I don't know why I never continued on with the series. At this point though, I think they each stand alone in the Millennium Trilogy, but it feels weird to just go on to the next one. But it was one of my favorite books the year that I read it. It had some violence in it, but it wasn't gratuitous. And I haven't seen the original movie, but I did see the American version, and I really enjoyed it. So maybe I will look into completing the series. I actually recently sold the sequel that I had, but I can always get it from the library, right? And that is all that I'm going to share with you today. I may go ahead and do the next installment for you guys, but you will have to wait till later to see that. As always, please feel free to share your thoughts on any of the books or anything that I said here today in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video.